Coming up on Oily Trash Movies. So far, I haven't seen the aliens do too much evil.
I know. I'm Team Alien right now. Yeah, I'm exhausted because I did all the work while Ford just sent me money.
That's how all of my relationships with women go, actually. All right, well, we're live.
No, we are not. Shut up.
This is Oily Trash Movies, the only podcast where two people say unfunny things the entire time. I'm your host, Daddy WarBux.
I'm Bublegum Barbie.
Anyway, this episode is dedicated to Hudge Pudge. He's currently our biggest fan. I showed him this podcast and he loved it. He's going back through all of our episodes. He says it's criminally underrated. So this one goes out to you, Hudgy.
Hey, Hudge Budge, Milk and I. How you doing?
Last week we watched Consecration, the nun movie.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that movie because we were doing our own movie.
Bubble, you can't just say we have to frame this as a big announcement. The official Oily Trash Movies production. You can't just spoil it for our audience.
I know, but I have to spoil it because what if the episode doesn't come out? Like this is why. And if it's shit, it's why, because I didn't edit because I was busy producing.
All right, well, yeah, congratulations, audience. If you like Oily Trash Movies, you just wait, because you're going to get your own Oily Trash movie written and produced by the team here at Oily Trash Movies.
Yeah, so the best part is when we were signing contracts and our cast and crew were like, Oily Trash Movies? That's great. So you're welcome, audience.
Yeah, I also barely remember Consecration, and I think we both reviewed it pretty favorably, and I had it up, we both have it high up on our lists. I think I'm gonna bump it down simply because, in retrospect, it didn't ever have that scene that made it stand out. It didn't have that scene where she pulls the good eyeball out of that nun with the patch over her eye and gives it to the old lady, or it didn't have the scene where it goes full Suspiria and she just makes all the nuns' heads explode or murders them all with knives. It needed something to really stick with you. Aside from that, it's a good watch, but it is kind of forgettable.
Yeah, I'm also going to bump it down because the fact that I did forget it, and we did talk about this. There was the gore it was missing the gore. And then now that I'm thinking about it, I hated that stupid cop character. And then nothing, like, unsatisfactory, whatever. Overall, it was fine. It was a fine nun movie. The reason why the rating is still kind of high for me is due to the fact that Aunt Mom, which we talked a lot in the episode, would like this movie. And I think she would appreciate this movie as a horror film.
Yeah, the movie's certainly better than the majority of what we've watched for this podcast, but it might even make one of our top 10s by the end of the year. But if it does, it's going to be low on the top 10, but still that puts it in, I don't know, the top 20% of movies we've seen. So enough about that. This week we've got a very exciting episode. We're going to be watching, what's it called? It's a really long name.
No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You. This is our first alien movie. We have had at least one movie with aliens in it.
Yeah.
But the aliens in Space Wars wasn't really about the aliens. There just happened to be a couple aliens at one point. This is a horror science fiction movie where the nemesis is aliens or an alien. Bubba, what do we know about this movie?
Okay, so I lost my notes for this one. So it is written by Brian Duffield, also written by him. So it's both directed by him and written by him. And actors, we don't know any of them. An exiled, anxiety-ridden homeboy must battle an alien who's found its way into her home. Exiled, anxiety-ridden homeboy. I know it's exiled.
Yeah, I looked at this, I'm like, oh, it's only one sentence. Bubble won't screw it up.
totally did. It was the title. It was so long. No one will save you, and I forgot how to read.
All right, are we ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Wait, did we forget to do our old? It's October Spooktober.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
We could do it right now.
All right, this is a great movie for TrashMovies.
So spooky.
And this is 20th Century Fox. This is pretty big budget, but the ratings seem to be pretty low. It's like a love it or you hate it type movie.
Hi.
So just reading the intro, that it brings up that this is a woman with anxiety, I'm already wondering, is this alien even real, or is this some sort of manifestation of her mental illness?
Oh my god, look at those Barbie doll houses. That is sick. I want to start doing these.
What do you call that, a diorama?
Yeah. Probably does YouTube and just builds them.
This house is so quaint.
It's so beautiful. I guess so. She's dressed in a very American kind of like aesthetic, you know.
I wonder when this takes place.
Take care, comb your hair, bye.
Way to get rejected.
This is a better cemetery scene than the cabin in the woods.
So this girl has so much anxiety, she has to duck behind a vehicle just so that people don't see her? Is that what that was?
I guess so. Oh, she doesn't even build them. She just buys them. Ew.
She had a Polaroid camera and there's an old rotary phone. So this definitely takes place 90s, maybe the 80s.
Or maybe it's just an aesthetic.
This could all be an aesthetic.
I'm really thinking about your theory here.
About this being a manifestation or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just some sort of metaphor for her condition. I was already thinking, like, nobody would look at her or acknowledge her, so she's being alienated. Could the alien be a symbol for alienation?
Ooh, it's getting spooky. Oh, shoot, I thought this was a dollhouse. This is the actual house. Damn.
It does look incredibly doll-like. Oh, they're gonna probe her. Dude, if I looked out my window and there was an alien rustling around in my trash, I would shit myself.
Oh, shit. I mean, oh, shoot. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Oh, oh my God. I will be freaking the hell out.
Only getting to see it distorted through that glass was perfect.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
The classic hide underneath the bed. Oh shit.
Oh no, she has her
All her shit's in there.
She has stuff in there. Damn it. He knows where you are. Oh my god.
Jeez, oh man, this alien's not fucking around.
Okay, CGI is a little horrid. Ew! Ew! He's like, hello? Anyone in this bedroom?
That's an interesting static. Although that is a flat panel TV, and I saw she had some DVDs, so I guess all the old style stuff is just her aesthetic. But why is the fridge door opening and closing though? It doesn't make any sense.
Because the alien with its psychic power can do that. You know, she hasn't said a line yet.
She needs to slam the door shut now and trap it in the fridge.
Yeah. Did she kill it? Oh my gosh, she did.
Oh, now I feel kind of bad for it. What if it was actually nice?
Yeah, I was just there to help her with her social anxiety. Hello, is Men in Black? Can you give me contact with the Men in Black? Thank you.
She's taking a shower with the dead body of an alien downstairs.
Well, so much for the cops.
So she's just gonna leave town? That actually seems like a great idea. Oh my goodness. Alien crop circles everywhere.
So this is a mental illness where people start believing, I forgot what it's called, but where they believe that their loved ones are no longer, like it looks like them, it acts like them, talks like them, but it's not them. It's like they've been hijacked with an alien form or someone completely different or an agent who looks exactly like them or a clone. I forgot what that mental illness is called.
Sounds like something that would happen with schizophrenia. It's interesting that they chose such a classic alien form for this movie.
Because they're real, War. Because that's how aliens look like. They actually casted a real life alien for this film.
Best supporting actor by far. Apparently, I'm assuming our hero is responsible for the death of Maud.
I'm assuming too. Which is probably why she doesn't speak anymore or has like severe anxiety. Oh, they're hosts. So they like went from their actual, now it's in their throat. They like made themselves tiny again.
I mean, they're possessed some way. I assume that this is like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, essentially.
Snail trail. Oh my god, it's in the window.
This also gives me vibes here in the basement of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
Oh my god, it's like the scene of Jurassic Park in the kitchen. So they can make them smell themselves. Oh, it's a different one.
It's a baby alien. It's like Gollum.
Yeah.
Damn, what does this poor alien do?
Invaded her house and and like scratched up her wooden floors.
So far, I haven't seen the aliens do too much evil.
I know. To admit it, I'm Team Alien right now. Ah!
Get impaled. I do like the design of these aliens.
I do too. I do also like their sounds. What an idiot! Does he not know how to use his long legs and arms that he's had his entire life?
Oh, I love explosions. Fade to black. Credits roll. The end.
Ah!
Jeez. That sort of jittery movement they do is so reminiscent of Mars Attacks. See, I don't really feel that this is threatening because we don't know what the aliens' motivation is or what they want. She's about to get probed.
It's not you, dude.
Is it? Is it her killing who she could have been?
Oh my god.
I mean, the tentacle monster's still in there, and they could just build another body around it, right? It's not like this is anything major.
Right.
Man, this movie's putting me to sleep.
I know. This is what was happening because I was like pretty energized and I was watching this and I was just falling asleep. It was good though. When the aliens are there, the aliens are pretty cool. It's Daddy WarBux.
What if it's like oh my god, it's huge.
Oh, it stills memories, I guess.
Oh my god, she's gonna bash her head in with a rock?
Wow, she did kill her.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
That rock seemed too small to murder a child. I mean, like, She actually seems like a bad person then if she beat her best friend's head in with a rock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kind of a kind of an interesting thing to do, movie.
I mean, I'm very shocked that she's still walking. Like she's free, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess at that age you are a delinquent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're just supposed to take everything as metaphor because what else is there in this movie? Like there really isn't any substance. It's just a series of images. There's not even dialogue.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of interesting that they did manage to tell so much story. Even though it's not an abundance of story, but just the way they showed you how the parents hated her and how she was dodging the parents at the beginning.
Yeah, so this is a metaphor. Yeah. These aliens are like exactly what you said. Her alienation, anxiety.
This is too art house for me. This feels like something Wigwolf would have directed.
Yeah. I see it as like these aliens are like not actually aliens, but psychologists or like some sort of doctors, some sort who like assign. This is the CIA. This is what the aliens are. The CIA.
She's getting MK Ultra'd right now.
Yeah.
Thanks, aliens, for curing my anxiety.
She's gonna go on the date. And it ends with her date being possessed by one of those aliens, and he goes, "Hey, saw you batching your best friend with the rock."
Man, a smoking hot chick that's fucking crazy. God, men would be all over her. What, is she like the queen of the aliens now?
I guess so.
So this is like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but she's not been snatched. You know what? I think this is just all her delusion at this point now. I don't know. This movie's kind of a disaster.
It is.
This is too bizarre.
I don't know what to rate it at all.
It's too ambiguous. I don't mind a little ambiguity in my films, but I need something. When you just end in a bizarre, I guess the aliens just took over and they
Just let her be.
enslaved everybody but her.
Yeah.
The end. Huh.
So this is like that animation movie that The Rock was in where he was the space guy. I forgot what the Area 51. This is just Area 51.
All right, so this was No One Will Save You, which seems right off the bat wrong. Because it's like the aliens came and saved her, right? Like everything,
Right.
like she was saved at the end.
Right. She was cured with her anxiety.
All right, so what I liked about this movie, it was gorgeous. The cinematography, everything's shot well. I like, just how dim and forbidding some of the scenes were. Everything just sort of had like a dusky twilight look to it. The aliens we talked about, the creature design is awesome. The way they move feels alien. They're like doing like weird symbols with their arms that are just incomprehensible. And that's sort of where the fear, when you're doing an alien horror film, what makes an alien scary is that it is alien to you. And that it is incomprehensible, it's unknown, it's impossible to understand it, it's impossible to have any sort of meaningful communication with an alien, and that's frightening. But then, the way this movie just goes off the rocker into this metaphor nonsense, I really feel takes away from it. It certainly takes away from all of the prolonged, suspenseful, sort of stalking scenes of the aliens sort of chasing her, because at that point, all of that was meaningless. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, if the aliens are supposed to represent her alienation or her anxiety or whatever, her interactions with the aliens should also somehow enforce that or strengthen that alienation in her. Like, maybe you have that first scene where the aliens are her house and she goes into town, and then everyone, she's already a pariah, being that she killed the chief of police's daughter, but now she's also hallucinating and talking about aliens, and then she becomes more isolated, more alienated from her contemporaries in this town. And you sort of have that all compound, and then she's like afraid of her own shadow maybe by that point because she becomes paranoid. But the fact that it's played so much like a straight horror movie, and then like the actual monsters are supposed to be metaphorical, I feel like there's a breakdown between the halves of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Visually, it was beautiful. Wardrobe, it was great. Location, it was great. The way it was filmed, it was great. The cast, I mean, even the actress was really fantastic. The fact that she didn't have, there wasn't any dialogue, she was so expressive is extraordinary. And that's like me as an actress, that's my strong point. Obviously, I have a hard time speaking, and acting in this way is my stronghold. So I do hold that just as she does too. So this is it's great. The supporting actors like the mailman and the mom and the cop and that the visuals was just really cool. The aliens were really interesting, even though the CGI was kind of whatever. I wish that they would have done like some sort of practical effects, but that's just me personally. I really like practical effects, and I know that it's a dying art because it's cheaper and easier to do CGI. I get it. But I really like getting hands-on and seeing artists build something, because we are ultra talented in that way. I think that if it goes with your theory, I think it's that mental illness, which I wish I knew what the name was, is where she has crippling anxiety, and because she's going through this trauma that she's gone through, which is killing her best friend, I think she had that alienation plus her believing that the people that she knew back then are now not them, which is something I believe that the movie is somewhat saying, is that the town is slowly, it looks like them, they're being cloned, but it's not them, it's these aliens. And the ending got really, without that theory, it got very confusing and kind of destroyed it, because if she ended up accepting herself and the aliens essentially left her alone because she accepted, she had this redemption of herself. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I was expecting for her to say one thing after to the mailman and actually saying, hey, Yeah, it's too art house, like you said. Way too art house. But visually, it was really, really, really interesting. And that's it.
It's certainly interesting to have a movie where the main character only says a few words. That's pretty ambitious. And that's funny. Like, that's your dream role where all you do is, like, you just stand there and make faces and crawl around and you don't have to say any big words.
You're true.
But our lead actress certainly was impressive. It's just, it's one of those movies I don't think I got anything from it.
Yeah.
Maybe on a second watch, and like, well, even this watch, I was specifically viewing it through that lens. Like, okay, like this is probably all a metaphor for something. Specifically because they made it a point to mention that she had anxiety in the in the one sentence description of this movie. And even then, I still didn't really get anything from it. I don't understand like the ending, because the ending seems to imply that this was a literal alien invasion, which maybe that's what we're supposed to get out of it, is that it was a literal alien invasion, but for whatever reason they spared her, which doesn't make sense. Like, why we don't have what we needed in any sense was some sort of implication of what the aliens' motivation is, because we don't know what they're doing.
Right. Like that moment that we just saw where they were quote unquote probing her. It was really weird because it became a scientific study, just like we do. So I saw it as that probing, if it was a metaphor, I thought that it was, since now that we knew that she killed her best friend, maybe it was like the justice system, the police officers, the psychiatrist, the psychologist, and then just her having a bad trip because of all her medication. Or the lack of her now wanting to take medication and her going into that psychosis. And that's what I took of this movie, but because of that weird ass ending, I don't get it. It's too art house. It was visually beautiful, I won't watch it again.
I'll tell you what, and the dollhouses that she had, where she's like making this little town, and she's like reaching in and like moving the things around, like that. You could have, I feel like you could have done some stuff with that. But really, maybe a second watching, I would maybe like this a little bit better. But I think the first half is stronger when they play it like an actual alien movie, and then yeah, it loses me on the art house. I don't think I like this movie. I wouldn't call it oily, but I'm only gonna give this 2 WarBux. You know, this is pretty low. Even though I love aliens and you know what, I would watch. This is a great movie to start watching if it's really late at night and you know you're gonna fall asleep halfway through.
Yeah, it is. If you can't go to bed, but you want to watch something, this is great. I give this okay, so I'm gonna give this one bubblegum, and the fact that I didn't give it an oily trash rating is simply because it feels like a movie. It is a movie, even though it's not a great movie.
It wasn't to our taste, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I love aliens. Aliens are cool. These aliens were like the traditional alien, which I really did like because everybody has seen this image.
Well, it's an interesting take on the traditional alien because then you had the traditional aliens, but like with the super exaggerated spider arms,
Yes.
and that I really liked. They changed them just enough.
Love the fingers. Yeah, they adjusted them just enough, and each one of them, I love that each alien that we did see had its own little different characteristic. One had like a tattoo. The other one had super, super long arms and legs. The other one was super, super short with little arms and little legs. How I would fix this movie would be exactly what you said. And rather than making it or essentially saying that she has anxiety, just make it a literal alien invasion. And that probably would have been cool. And that also would have added the other characters, the dad who has to team up with the murder of his daughter to kill these aliens. Like kids versus aliens. I think it would have solved this movie. And her overcoming her anxiety by saying, hey, these aliens, let's take them down or something. Whatever. It's fine.
You know, if she is bright and sunshiny at the end, what did she do to earn that? This character had no arc. We know that she murdered her best friend in cold blood, which one makes it pretty tough to sympathize with her, but two, it's not even like she came to grips with it. It just showed the aliens. She got to relive it in front of the aliens, and the aliens are like, okay, we're gonna like fix you up and put you in paradise. That didn't make any sense. The character didn't grow individually into that.
Okay, I think I get it. I think what the movie is trying to say is that essentially she can communicate with aliens in the level that she can't communicate with other people. The fact that they could touch her and completely understand her in such a level that humans can't. She has more of an access and like sympathizes more as they also sympathize with her as well, and which makes sense that they would let her live because she can talk to them just like they can talk to her, and there's that understanding. And I think that's what the movie is trying to say, is that she does have crippling anxiety, but they communicate that same way, I suppose.
This is the kind of movie where I want to take the premise and then just rewrite it with my own ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the kind of movie where I want to be the lead. Just kidding.
All right, I don't feel like I have too much to say about this. It like even for a movie that's 90% metaphor, it feels pretty shallow. It wants to have its cake and eat it too, where it wants to like act like it's making this big
Message.
statement and this message about mental illness, or at least specifically just anxiety, or just the human condition. But then it also is a schlocky monster in the house alien invasion movie, and I feel like those two just didn't, like oil and water. They didn't mix.
You know what this movie needed and how this movie would be fixed?
How?
if Wigwoof directed this.
We're gonna send this movie to Wigwoof
Yes.
and get. You know what? We should have brought him in for this
Yeah.
episode so we could get his ideas.
Exactly. I think, especially when it comes to them, if the movie was trying to make a statement with the mental illness, I think Wigwith would have done really well with it. And then the fact with him having the access to having aliens be involved in it, I think it would have been a very great marriage with the writer slash director and then Wigwith directing it. I think it would have been a great statement, especially with the budget. It would have been off the rockets and it would have been successful. That's all I have to say, really.
All right, the hell with this movie. Not a fan. Check something else out. If you want to see a good alien movie, Arrival, Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. That's a great action sci-fi alien invasion, and it also has elements of horror that are a parallel or exceed this movie. The original Alien.
Predator.
Like literally any movie with aliens is always a surefire win.
Yeah, The Earth Stood Still, both the original and the remake with Keanu Reeves.
Kids versus aliens.
Yeah, Kids versus Kids versus Aliens is one of the most successful aliens I've seen to date. Yeah, just watch this movie if you want to fall asleep.
All right, take care, comb your hair.
And remember to mace directly in the alien's face.
Bye.
Bye.
Jesus.
Oh my god.